Hey everybody, Brian Good here on this Thursday, an update on our storm potentials we had through this afternoon and really over the weekend, and we'll discuss next week before we switch gears into a different headline for the area. First off, so we got these thunderstorms to our south. In fact, a warning just came out a few moments ago on the southern side of Warren County, south of Bowling Green, closer to the Tennessee border. You got some wind gusts there with 50 miles per hour. Now here's what's happened. We had a cluster of thunderstorms this morning that rolled in from the west. We had a few of those, even some rumbles of thunder. I heard them this morning as I was getting ready for work, moving through the Louisville area. That activity is moving to the south. It has stabilized things right along the river for now, but notice the development already to our north. What we're likely going to see is what we call a slight area of differential heating. In other words, where the cloud shield from the thunderstorms over Ohio County and Grayson County kept us in the 70s, lower 80s. Well, that's eroding away, so now we're seeing rapid heating. So the differential heating now is taking place. We're heating things up. It is humid, and the stage is set for new development of thunderstorms this afternoon that will take place closer to Louisville and southern areas of Indiana. The Storm Prediction Center has the slight risk for severe weather. Our southern counties, mainly southeast Kentucky, marginal locally. I would argue with the marginal being a little more to the north to include a good chunk of central Indiana into Cincinnati, and perhaps even the slight risk aiming a little more towards Cincinnati. But we'll see how that plays out. It looks to be very much an isolated event because of the parameters we have at play. Now, this is from the mesoanalysis site from SBC, so it's a little hard to read. Here's Louisville right in here. What I'm looking at is what we call the precipitation placement. This usually does a good job of telling you where the next development of thunderstorms is likely going to take place, and we can see that taking place across southern areas of Indiana, very close to the Ohio River. When you look at the shear, not a lot of shear to talk about. It's very close to the front, only about 20 to about 30 knots. So these are, again, very much going to be slow movers, heavy rain. They're going to feed mainly on instability, not so much wind shear for the afternoon period. And the downdraft cape does go down where the thunderstorms are in central and southern Kentucky, but it increases again right along the river. And that's the reason why I got to watch out for a few strong thunderstorms in our area. It does show that we have some stable air in the area now because of that cloud shield we had this morning, but again, that will begin to erode away. So one of our high-res models shows the activity now in southern Kentucky fades out. New development then will begin to pop along the Ohio River in southern areas of Indiana for this afternoon into this early evening. That will quickly erase into southern Ohio and then fade out for the night tonight. A much quieter night ahead for us, by the way. As we head further into the upcoming weekend, Friday storm chance, we'll begin to see some thunderstorms pop as the front is still close to the area, but mainly south of 64. So the more south you are on Friday, the higher the storm chance. Same scenarios we head into Friday evening, mainly south of Louisville, very isolated activity. And then as we head into Saturday, even further south, likely south of the Parkway. So most of us look really good as we head into this weekend. And then as we head into Monday night and Tuesday, this is where things get a little more interesting. We saw this yesterday, showing up in the Canadian model especially, but there's going to be a sharp dive of a piece of energy. It's going to dive in at a very odd angle, almost like a backdoor cold front, that will attract from southern Michigan into eastern Kentucky. There's a lot of wind energy associated with that as it does dive in, with it concentrated more toward West Virginia. But the timing on this is crucial because this will likely be what we call an MCS, or a complex of thunderstorms that can produce some damaging winds. And the GFS is showing that it will arrive late Monday night into the midnight hour or later, into early on Tuesday. Now, usually these things move a lot faster than what the models are showing them here. So this likely could be Monday evening, I would say after sunset, with a damaging wind threat, especially eastern Kentucky and southern Ohio. We'll watch it carefully for how much that can back build to the southwest toward Louisville for a late Monday night into the day on Tuesday. GFS does show it try to redevelop again, by the way, Tuesday afternoon, mainly south and east of Louisville, where it is still quite unstable. So timing is everything on this Monday night into Tuesday feature. We'll monitor that carefully, but it does raise some eyebrows. The potential is there for maybe some strong thunderstorms with an MCS dropping in, again at a very odd angle, but a very unstable atmosphere that it will be crashing into. The Canadian, by the way, just came in, shows the same thing with it diving in. It'll have like an arrow effect to it when it dives in, a big bow basically, with it more like a U shape dropping in. We just got to figure out the left side of the U. How much of that left side of the U is going to be over us? Will it be you? Then, after that moves by, we do cool things down, drop the humidity down slightly for Wednesday, part of Thursday, briefly. Then the heat builds, and this is our promising significant heat wave of the season potentially developing. But we're still going to be the edge, but further into that edge than we were before. GFS is going crazy, taking us to about 99 or so to 100 degrees by next Saturday. The heat index, as you see there, about 100 to 120 or so in the afternoon. GFS gets a little too excited. These are the raw numbers. I do think with so much of a wet ground and green landscape, that's not going to be the reality. In fact, the Canadian numbers, it is showing a pocket of 70s here because it's picking up some isolated thunderstorms. So you got to ignore that. But look at the general numbers, 94, 95, maybe 96. That I do think is reachable as we head into next, maybe as early as the next Friday, but probably next Saturday. That will begin to show up with the heat index again pushing advisory level. In fact, our first heat advisories of the season look likely if this heat wave builds. In fact, looking at your earliest alert outlook, it is indicating that the core of the heat is likely going to be, I would take it from the upper Midwest all the way into the edge of the Ohio Valley into the deep south, the Plain States. Kansas, Texas, Missouri, Arkansas, Iowa, perhaps even Minnesota and Wisconsin, I think will be the hottest areas right up the Mississippi Valley. Again, the Ohio Valley on the edge of that, but further into the heat shield that we've been so far this season. So if you love hot weather and you're looking for it, chances are it's coming later next week. But between now and then, we'll get a few more rounds of thunderstorms to get through. The strongest wave still looks to be Monday night into Tuesday. That's it for now, guys. See you on TV.